Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday! This is the Let's Go Devils podcast. Everybody in the Facebook group, give me a big woo! Shorts guy, I gotta get you on the screen.
Hey!
Give me a big woo!
Woo!
Beer Baron, the family's down at the shore and you're home all alone. Give us a big woo!
Woo!
There you go. There you go.
I'm normally not allowed to do that.
I know. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season 1, episode 42. Reliving Devils memories. We're going to be talking to Kyle McKenna of EliteSportsNY.com. Came up with quite a few articles in the past week, reliving those old glory days of the New Jersey Devils, especially between 1997 to 2004. Most Devils fans would consider those years almost the dynasty years of the New Jersey Devils.
So close.
Going to all those Stanley Cup finals. Oh, those are the good old days. Anyway, let me cut the music here.
I have to say right off the bat, David Holliday from Edmonton. What's going on, buddy? And also Douglas Walker saying hello. Even though he's on vacation, wanted to check in and say hello. So what's up, Douglas?
We have the best fans of any Devils podcast out there, without a doubt.
No joke. They call in from all over the planet.
Yeah, and we are also the most commented Devils podcast out there, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's very nice. All right, so Sam brought up a very good point about talking about Devils history, and why don't we talk a little history ourselves? This to start off the show, and in between that time, what do you think is one of your top favorite moments that you can think of in that span of, as Sam put it, from 94, I think he said 94 to 2004. I think that's the sanity. I think that's what he gave us.
No, I thought he started with 2000 or 1997. Sam was so jacked in that intro. I lost my train of thought. I have not seen Sam that jacked in a long time.
Yeah.
I would have to say.
Well, guys, I have a confession why I'm so jacked.
It's because we're on multiple platforms. It's because we're on multiple platforms.
Yeah, we're on multiple platforms. The Let's Go Devils podcast, Facebook Live, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube Live. We're also on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio. That was a great segue to the promo. But actually, the reason why I'm so jacked is because the neighbor downstairs isn't home. So
that's why you gave a mighty woo.
Oh yeah, that's why I was like, woo! In the intro, I had that little punch to it, and it reminded me back of the golden years between '95 and 2004. Those years of New Jersey Devils hockey. But anyway, I'm going to go back to you guys. So let me just cut you guys back in.
Hey Sam, Sam, before you go, Sam, come back. What were the years that you gave us? Sam, what were the years you gave us? You said from 97 to what?
I don't know. 97 to 2004, 95 through 2004. I'm just estimating. I mean, it doesn't have to be a cup year, but those were good runs.
All right. So then if we're including 95 in it, absolutely best memory being there in 95 for game 4, June 24th, 1995. Best memory. That's it.
That's it. Hands down.
Hands down. Yeah. Like going between 7th and 8th grade and being at the arena when your team wins their first ever Stanley Cup, that nothing can replace that. My biggest regret of those years is having a chance to buy tickets to Game 7 in 2003 and saying to myself, they'll never go to Game 7, and clicking X on the internet and not purchasing these Game 7 tickets. That's my biggest regret of that. That time.
It's funny you say that. I did something similar in 2012. I went to almost every single home game during the playoff run, and then when the Cup Finals came, I think I was so emotionally spent from the last Rangers Devils hurrah, and Game 6, and probably the most elated I've ever been in my life, sports wise. Dude, I slept on the Stanley Cup games. I was like, you know what? I'll get to one. It's all right. I'll buy my tickets sooner than later. And then the whole series went to hell, and we all know what happened there. But we have a little news to talk about. We'll get into a few things, but number one, Blake Coleman signs a 3-year deal. Stefan Nason signs a 1-year deal, and they're also bringing back Nick Lappin for a 1-year deal. So 3, signings within the system that I think are 3 very, very solid signings. And honestly, if they keep that line together, the Travis and the 2 Texas boys, that very reminiscent of that Pandolfo Madden type of checking line that the Devils used to hang their hat on. So I think first of all, I think it's an awesome signing, bringing Coleman in for 3 years. He proved himself last year, and I'm excited to see all 3 of them coming back.
Yeah, I agree. It was good to see them, re-signing. It was good to see some action there as far as the Devils are concerned, and perfect signings for now, and we'll see what happens going forward. But yeah, keeping that line together, and it's escaping me right now which one of them was it Nason that just got married?
Nason just got married, but Coleman just got engaged. So
okay, yeah, because I saw online pictures from the Nason wedding, and I guess he had a couple of the guys there. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm happy to have that line back for next year. I'm happy to have those guys re-signed. It's movement in what we need, signings. So I'm just happy to see.
So that brings me to my next question, and you is, do you, Ray Shero is sitting pat. What it seems like he's kind of trusting the system and wanting to see what some of these younger guys that they've had stashed away, what they have in store. So, Mikey McLeod and Nick Lappin, who put up some really good numbers in Binghamton last year, it seems like that these younger guys are going to have a real chance to crack the lineup unless Minnesota's now cap strapped Detroit's cap strap, and there's a couple names that are floating around that they could try to go after, like Nino Niederreiter. Do you think they should stay, bring these young kids in, or do you think they should still target somebody like a Niederreiter?
All right. Well, I think that they got to give the kids a chance at some point, and it looks like they're setting up for that. However, if a Niederreiter, and I always screw his name up, if someone like him falls into the Devils' lap, then you have to absolutely sign, as long as he fits with the team. So the Devils are in the position to where the Devils can be that team to, I guess if you want to say, help others out who are cap strapped. But it's almost like they're lying in wait to see who they can poach from who. That to me seems like what is Shiro's strategy right now. I mean, obviously, if you get someone that can fill a gap and who falls into your lap and fits into the team and the system, then yeah, you know what? By all means, you go for it.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I feel like there's a couple guys that that they could try to target. I know there's for example, if you look at I think Trouba was just awarded 5.5 in salary arbitration, a defenseman from Winnipeg. He to me, I've always felt like he is a name that kind of slips under the radar as one of the top defensemen in the league if you're not super into into the NHL, and that's just because he plays for Winnipeg. He's not in a huge market. But this kid, if you could figure out a way to pry him from Winnipeg, he's obviously for the last couple of years been in a miserable situation up there. If you could pry him away from Winnipeg, I think that'd be a huge addition to the team. Either that, or like you said, go after somebody up in Minnesota like a Niederreiter, which you would be bringing Countryman home to or into the team for Nico Hischier, or you try to go after Nyquist, in Detroit.
Yeah, and we don't have to limit it just to Minnesota or Detroit. Anyone who's cap strapped. What is Winnipeg's cap situation? Are they close? Are they good? I don't even know. They're not the Devils.
What? I'd have to. Yeah, exactly. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure they're riding close to the cap. They have a lot of big names on that team, so there's a lot of decent sized contracts that are up there. And I mean,
yeah, so it's possible we can do another team a favor by taking somebody off their hands. If that's the case and it's the right person and the right fit for the team, then absolutely do it. But I guess we got to go back to the old saying that we've said before: trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. And that's the biggest thing too. Is like everybody's hitting a panic button. July 1st happened, nothing happened. Everybody freaked out. Weeks go by. Carlson thing, everything, all that, the Carlson trade rumors, everything heated up. Devils were the third team. They were going to facilitate the trade and blah, 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 blah. Everybody freaked out. Then that kind of fizzled out. We still have a while to go until the season begins. And then even when the season begins, you can still tinker with the team. But, like we said in the beginning, I think it is time to let some of these young guys take these roles instead of bringing in a Stafford. And this isn't a knock against, Stafford or any of the veterans that they usually bring in on a PTO, which is something we could discuss later too, the possible PTOs that they might bring in. But I mean, at the same time, let some of these young guys come in and actually try to earn that spot. We didn't really know who Coleman or, Gibbons or some of these guys were last year going into the year. And, look what happened when they got their opportunity.
Yeah. Let's see. So David Holiday just kind of gave some info. Jets have $12 million left, but next year resign Lane, Connor, Wheeler, Myers, Trouba, and he believes there's no chance they can. Yeah, that's a lot of guys to fit in $12 million without having to shed someone.
Line and Wheeler are going to demand huge contracts.
Absolutely.
At least Line, you got to figure Line is in line for a big bump in pay. So
you would think
there's
so.
a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that we could negotiate with, but then again, it's Shiro's been really smart. Look at the moves that he's made so far. He's not willing to give up to mortgage the future just to get somebody else into the team. So,
and my personal view with this, my personal view with this whole time of the year and what might be, what might not be is I don't believe anything until I see the player holding a jersey. So I don't even get too wrapped up in these in all these rumors, because it's what's the point? And that's all from stemming back to the Kovalchuk summer, where was he going to sign? Was he not going to sign? And at one point during that summer, I was sitting there going, it just dawned on me, it's like, wow, why am I caring so much? Like, why am I worrying about this? Not that I don't care about the team, not that I don't care that they make changes, but it's like, why am I caring so much about, just something I can't control, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So from then on out, I've been pretty much just kind of like, all right, well, when they hold the jersey up, there you go, there it is. That's just me, though.
See,
I see Sam's returned, I believe. Let me move my. What do you got, Sam? Sam, we cannot hear you. Microphone, Sam. Microphone, turn it on. Sam, no microphone.
Sorry. I had
the
cough button. Yeah, I had the cough button on hold the entire time. I know why you cared so much. Because you wanted to win. Yeah. You wanted to beat the Rangers. At that time, the Rangers were on the up and ups. And here the Devils had Kovalchuk, first overall pick.
Yeah.
Was it 2001? Yeah, 2001. First overall pick.
No, he was a stud. No, he was a stud. And I cared until it just dawned on me one night. It's like, why am I going to stress over this when it impacts my life, but why am I going to let this stress me out so much when I have no control over this? If he doesn't leave, or if he had left that summer, it's like, well, I'm still going to love the Devils. From that summer on, I made a decision. I'm not going to get worked up about it, and I'm not going to stress out over rumors. I'm not even going to try to pay attention to many rumors.
You're better
until
than most.
I see. Well, it's just to me, it's a more logical thing. It's like, everyone's freaking out over, we haven't done anything on free agency. It's like, I care and I want the Devils to improve the team, but it's like, I'm not going to stress my life over this.
But the problem with that is you're just being too rational. We're supposed to be irrational, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather be irrational.
I'm plenty irrational on many other things. I don't need to be more irrational than I already am.
And that's the thing too, is you make it such a valid point of like not overreacting to, things that are happening off the ice and things that you really don't have any control over. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of times, especially now, like where watching the team grow and your expectations are starting to grow and you don't want to let yourself get way overhyped where your expectations are way up here. You still want the team to do something. And I totally get where you're coming from. Like, why get so like you can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't think. It's like a bad breakup. Don't get me wrong. I saw a video of Kovalchuk warming up or like exercising for the LA Kings, and it pissed me off still. Like, there's still a burn there. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's still such a burn.
I didn't even watch. It's like, whatever. He's not on my team anymore. Whatever. I don't care. I just don't. Now, when he's in front of me on the ice in person, yeah, I'll probably, I'll probably boo the hell out of him. However, again, I still give him credit for being up front and saying, "Oh, I want to go home for my family," versus someone else blowing smoke up our asses for weeks on end and doing nothing, and then bolting anyway. I still give him that much more credit than Parisi.
Yeah,
I mean,
I do too.
I will probably boo the hell out of him when I see him, but at the same time, it's like, he's in LA. Okay, so he left and he came back, and it's not like he went right from us to them. It's not like he went to a direct rival. We'll see him twice this year. Okay, whatever.
I mean, I think I think what it is just it's just the way it happened. Like, I just remember being at work and my buddy texted me like, "Hey, Kovalchuk just retired," and I remember writing back like, "F you, that's not even that funny." he's like, no, I'm being serious. Like, it really happened. And I remember scrambling to my computer and seeing that he retired. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. This guy was supposed to be the cornerstone for the team to build around, and now he's just gone. And now that's gone. Now the team's going to go down to crapper.
I can still tell you exactly where I was and what I was doing at the time that I heard he retired. It's just I've gotten over it. I really have. And I want to throw this out to the rest of our listeners if they have gotten over that or not. I know a couple of them, kind of going back to our original question of best memory. I know Bobby Manella said 2000 Cup win. Kevin Weeks, what's up, Kevin? 2000 Cup win. Jai, I hope I said your name right. You were at Game 7 of 2003. I regret not being there. Eric Burns, specific 12-23-90 first game. Well done.
I was going to say the same thing.
12-23-90. That's awesome. I know my first game was in the 94 season. Jai was also at the game where Kovalchuk flubbed the shootout goal. Oh my gosh. When it fell off his stick, that
dude, I remember that.
Oh, how could you not? Great memories, by the way. And also great help there with our with helping us with that Winnipeg cap space. A lot of great memories out there.
You know, it's funny too. We talk about.
I'd like to throw this out to the listeners though. If they're still burnt about Kovalchuk, or if they're over it, I'm just curious. I know a lot of people still are, but I'm just curious what our listeners.
I want to say most people are. And like I said, it's just the way that it ended. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't. To me, it just felt like, for whatever reason, I always equated to being in a relationship. You know, you think everything is great, and you're like, ah, man, me and my girl, everything is going good, and just kind of hanging out. And then one day you come home and all of her crap's gone, and you're like, what just happened? What just happened? My life, what just happened? And you're scrambling around, and all you find is a note that says, I retired and I'm going back to Russia. You know what I mean? It was like,
yeah, but at least he gave a reason.
But then I mean, I guess a lot of people also equated him leaving, or just him being on the team, to Parise leaving, to the fact that we couldn't build a team around him because we were going to be, in cap hell forever because his contract was going to like kill us. And realistically, if you looked at it, now I could be wrong about this, but the numbers of his contract that over the years, of course, when he was getting towards the later stages of his career, weren't going to be as great. But it wasn't like it was a horrible deal that was going to, $14 million a year that was going to like screw the Devils over for a very long time. I don't know. To me, like if he would have stayed, I just imagine like if things still kept progressing the way they did, and they got Taylor Hall and Kovalchuk, and you can always dream. I
know. I would have loved him to stay too, but we're gonna have to put this on pause for a second because I believe we have Kyle McKenna from EliteSportsNY.com. Kyle, you there? It's Shorts Guy and Beer Baron.
Hey, fellas, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Hey, Kyle, thanks for coming back, man.
Yeah, no problem. Always look forward to listening to you guys, and again, admire what you guys are doing. So let's talk some hockey.
Heck
awesome.
Yeah, man.
Hey, by the way, thanks for the shout out. I saw you got the shirt. It arrived safely at your house. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, you know what? It was very kind of you guys, and it's pretty cool. You wear it out and about, and people are asking, "What is that?" And that's a cool T-shirt. And where'd you get it made? So I normally, don't worry, I don't take credit for it. So I always pass them on and promote you guys. So I appreciate that.
And we appreciate that as well. All right. So Kyle, you had a couple good articles this week. I was reading the one that I was definitely reading was the whole argument about retiring Niedermayer's number by the Ducks. That's I know a couple players have had it done before, and I know you're. I don't know. That's the first that I had heard that they were going to retire his number this year. So, what you want to fill our listeners in on it that may not have read the article?
Sure. I mean, I'm sure most people might know by now that the Ducks are going to retire Scott Niedermayer's number 27, and they're going to do it before they retire Paul Kariya's. So I think my first reaction is, Paul Kariya's number should have been retired a long time ago. If you're, you know, Anaheim Ducks, regardless of whatever kind of shaky relationship they had, and I get it, wasn't there with Teemu Selanne when they won the Stanley Cup, but I mean, if you look at some of these other teams, and we always kind of get in debates about whose number should be retired. I mean, I just don't think there's any debate that Paul Kariya's number should have been retired a long time ago. And I understand that, look, Scott Niedermayer was a huge part of that Ducks team, and they don't necessarily have extensive history, right? I mean, one Stanley Cup, and, you know, they have one Hall of Famer and Teemu Selanne, who's, you know, represent, or in Korea now too, representing the Ducks. So I don't agree with it. That his number should be retired by the Ducks, and I just think it's a little odd that, look, I mean, this guy is a Devil, and his number was retired by the Devils a few years back. So I just kind of think it takes away from something special that the Devils and Niedermayer had, in my opinion. I'm not really sure how you guys feel about it, but that's where I stand. I don't think it's necessary for the Ducks to retire his number 27. They can honor him in any way that they would like to, and as long as they want to do that for it is a very precious moment in Ducks history. But I mean, to retire his number, I don't know, guys. I don't agree with it.
You know, I'm in the same boat. I kind of feel exactly the same you do. You know, and reading that article, you hit on so many different points that, like I said, that I completely agree with. And you were just saying that, you know, his time in Anaheim, yeah, you know, like you alluded to, maybe they don't win that cup if he's not there. Maybe they do, but at the same time, it just. What's that?
They absolutely do not win the Stanley Cup if Niedermayer's not there.
Yeah, and I mean, just you know, like you said, that his time there, whether whether it's significant enough to you know, warrant retiring a number, I feel the same way. I just feel like it's just a little odd. It's a little strange.
Shortsman, what about you?
Well, he is definitely a key player in their team's history. If they want to honor him, that's fine. Even if they want to retire his number, it's just so soon after the Devils did it. And I know you alluded to this in your article. And I agree with your point there. If you're gonna retire his number, wait. You know, he was key to them. They don't win without him. The Devils just did it recently, so why not wait? But Kariya needs to go up there before Niedermayer. I think Kariya absolutely deserves it much more right now than Niedermayer does, because Kariya was there. You know, Kariya was their main guy for a long time, and just I have no problem with them if they want to retire his number, but wait, put Kariya up there first. Give Kariya his, you know, do it in a different season at least, for sure. Give Kariya his time, get his spotlight. Niedermayer can wait. It's not like he's going anywhere.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
you know, guys. You know what, guys? I mean, Kyle. Sorry, Kyle. This is Sam here. You know what it almost reminds me of? Not quite exactly, but it just kind of reminds me of is when didn't the Colorado Avalanche retire Ray Bourque's number?
They did.
Yes. Yeah, they did. I think it was even like a year or two after they had won the cup or something like that. I don't remember the exact timing, but it kind of reminded me of that. I mean, to me, Niedermayer's like a forever New Jersey Devil. You know, he played majority of his career in New Jersey. Yes, he did help Anaheim out, but I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's certainly, you know, worthy of having his jersey retired, but by the Ducks, I'm not so sure. Maybe I'm being a homer, but it just kind of reminds me of that whole Ray Bourque scenario.
Look, you know what? I think I completely agree with you, Sam, and I think the Anaheim Ducks would have a stronger argument if they won another Stanley Cup with Niedermayer, right? If they won 2 Stanley Cups with Scott Niedermayer as their captain, then it's like, okay, now we're talking. You know, the puck's on your end of the ice, the ball's in your court. You guys are on the power play. There's a fair argument there, but for 5 seasons that he played there, and like, look, we can't say it enough. Their history is just different. Every team has a different perspective and, you know, a different past. But I mean, you know, you brought up Ray Bourque. What about Patrick Waugh? His number's retired by Montreal and Colorado, but again, Waugh won 2 Stanley Cups and had a lot of success and had more tenure with Colorado than Niedermayer did with Anaheim. So, I mean, look, give the guy a statue or wait 10 years. Like, you know, Schwartzman was.
I give him a statue. I mean, I think that would be kind of weird too. I mean, it's weird enough you're going to retire the guy's jersey, but yeah, I don't know, man. I just, to me, like you guys are saying, it doesn't seem fitting for them to do it now. I have to, and I'm sorry to change gears, but it's really funny that we were talking about Kovalchuk right before you jumped on, and you wrote this amazing article about how Kovalchuk dissed the New Jersey Devils. And I wanted to cite something that you wrote in that article specifically, or that you quoted him, that Kovalchuk said himself. He said, quote, LA has been a great group of guys, great goaltending, great defense. They have one of the best centers in the league. I have never had the chance to play with those types of guys. It's really exciting to me, and it's great. Wow. That is, and you nailed it on the head. Like, that's so disrespectful to the now Hall of Fame goaltender Martin Brodeur, Patrick Elias, Zach Parise, that entire team in 2012. Like, if you didn't like them before, then you got to hate them now. That's for sure.
Right, and I think, you know, everyone's go-to argument against me is, well, Anze Kopitar is a heck of a lot different than a majority players on that 2012 Devils team, which is fine. Look, Anze Kopitar is going to be a Hall of Famer, but, you know, that Los Angeles Kings roster right now isn't that much better than the 2012 Devils. I mean, really, if you go up and down that lineup, they're kind of a similar team where they have, like, almost a majority of their guys in their 30s, and they only have, like, 1 or 2 more good years left in their tank, and then, like, that's it. You know, and if you take Anze Kopitar out of the equation, it's like, is this Los Angeles Kings team really that much better than the 2012 Devils? And I'm hoping people who are listening to this just think about that. Go back and look up and down that 2012 Devils lineup. Guys like David Clarkson were relevant. Adam Henrique was relevant. Marek Zedlicki was relevant. Zach Parise was really good. Travis Zajac had an extra jump in his step. Peter Sikora had like some magical comeback season, was relevant for the Devils. Patrick Elias had some juice left. Brodeur, you know, there's nothing else left to say. So I get where Ilya Kovalchuk's coming is, you know, look, I think the Los Angeles Kings name and the players that they have look better on paper than what they're really made out to be right now. So for him to come out and say that, I just thought it was a little much. And that 2012 New Jersey Devils team accomplished a lot. They were big underdogs heading into the Eastern Conference Final against the New York Rangers team that won the President's Trophy and was supposed to go back to the Stanley Cup Final. I mean, you guys can recall this. Everyone was picking the Rangers to beat the Devils that year.
Oh, yeah,
the Devils
without a doubt.
In 6 games, in convincing fashion, if you were to ask me.
So, you know, do you think a part of this is also his, if you remember, there was that, you know, once he was going into the summer of Kovalchuk, there was is he going to sign with New Jersey or is he going to go with LA? And he had that whole, got brought out to LA and they wined and dined him and he ended up staying in New Jersey and we were all so happy. Do you feel that he also went to the Kings because he was, you know, he felt like he missed out the first time?
Sure, I'm sure that had to be in the back of his mind. And again, I mean, how many legitimate suitors were really out there willing to pay Kovalchuk what he wanted to? I think that's something that's kind of like forgotten in all of this is, were there really that many people willing to pay him that money and who were also playoff contenders? You know, San Jose was interested, but they were kind of maybe a little more invested in John Tavares, so the timing wasn't right there. You know, if he signs a contract, the Rangers aren't going to a Stanley Cup Final anytime soon. So, yeah, I mean, I think he kind of felt like maybe he missed out on it, but I just think LA is really, I don't want to use the word desperate, but their biggest need was to find a guy who's going to be able to score and can make a smooth transition. You know, a guy who's a professional and, you know, while he didn't make the quickest transition a few years back when he first came to the Devils, I'm sure this time around it might be a little different for Ilya Kovalchuk. And now I'm kind of sounding like I'm on his side. I mean, look, I'm not very anti-Ilya Kovalchuk, but I think there are a few different factors. to take into consideration why him and the LA Kings chose each other.
I just love the fact that people are like, but he put up 30 goals in the KHL. I'm like, yeah, my uncle could do that too, and he doesn't play hockey. So,
although that quote that Kovalchuk, gave, it almost sounds like he's trying to appease a new fan base that may be a little skeptical about this signing. I mean, I'm really not sure what the feeling out in LA is about the signing, but the facts are the guy is on the wrong side of 30. He's in the last couple of years of his career. Is he just saying this to say it and make everyone happy? Because Kyle, you gave us so many great reasons of why that Devils team was just so much better, which I totally agree. I'm just curious if he's just saying it just to say it, and really with no meaning behind it. Which if it's hollow, that makes it even worse. If he's just saying it to make people happy.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think this LA Kings team is very similar to that 2012 Devils team, where it's like, look, right off the bat, the Kings are Stanley Cup favorites here. And while I think they're going to have a really good season, there's still going to be like 3 or 4 teams that are going to finish ahead of them in the standings, like Winnipeg, Nashville, and so on. So, for him to just to make that decision and to come out and say those comments, I think, maybe he's just fallen in love with the idea of what he's got right in front of him right now. It's almost like when a team falls in love with their own players. Does that make sense? When they draft a guy or they hold on to a guy and they just keep giving him chance after chance after chance. And it's like, look, it's just not going to work. And this guy isn't as good as we thought he's going to be. I almost feel like Covey and the Kings are still maybe not over the fact that, as Beerbound was saying, that they couldn't unite years back and they could have had something even more special. So I think they're almost more in love with the idea than the actual reality.
True. And once again, not to kind of like hop all over the place, but there was like so many specific articles that we wanted to talk to you about. And one of them is one of my favorite subjects, is the long unbeaten streak that the New Jersey Devils had against the New York Rangers, and how that was one of the best times of hockey, just because it was it just felt like every time we played them, it was money in the bank, and also one of the best feelings. For like Shorts Guy alluded to, if there's anybody out there that hasn't read any of your articles, first of all, they need to go and find you right away and start reading your articles because they're incredible. But please enlighten them to this to this amazing article as well.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm a big hockey history buff. That makes sense. And, I really enjoy, he's talking about the Devils' history, especially during those days when they're so successful. And it's a shame because I feel like they just never got enough attention about some of their success. And I think this is one of those things where, you kind of hear whispers about it at the Prudential Center, if it's at a Devils-Rangers game or not, or, people are just hanging out at the beer garden before. There's, you always kind of joke around about these things. Oh, remember when the Rangers can beat the Devils for so long? But I mean, it's really extraordinary. I mean, have we seen anything like this in the NHL since?
Not really.
No,
I don't recall, guys. And this is a time when, look, they're playing each other 5 or 6 times a year. There's a over the last 10 years or so where division opponents, they might have only played each other 4 times. I want to recall. There's 1 or 2 years there where, the Devils and Rangers only saw each other 4 times, two on the road, 2 at home. So to see each other that often and to not lose, I mean, you would have thought, guys, it's just going to happen one day. Marty's just not going to have it in net, or they're coming off a back-to-back and the Devils are just going to be tired. But to go almost 5 straight years and to not lose is something remarkable, in my opinion.
Kyle, I remember the streak. I just started college, and the streak was going on and on and on and on. And then I remember being at a Devils Rangers game, and some idiot kid, he was about 15, 16 years old. Now, I think it was in 2001. Now he's considered a millennial. Wanted the Rangers to be better and more relevant so the competition could be like back in the old days, like back in 94, 95. And I just wanted to strangle that kid What are you talking about? I don't want to see the Rangers ever win again. Because we lived through those years back in elementary school and middle school and high school being tortured by these Rangers fans. I mean, if millennials will never understand this, it used to be 10 to 1 for every Devils fan in school. There were 10 Ranger fans, and the only reason why is because their parents were too cheap to buy Sports Channel as a premium on their cable package, and all they had was MSG. Am I right on that, Kyle? Like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And you know what? I blame that kid to this day because the Rangers lost. The Rangers lost that game, and the streak was over. But it was in the Meadowlands. Go ahead, Kyle.
It's a blog post worthy story. I mean, you guys are complimenting me on my story. It's holy cow, Sam. Anything more? Come on. I know you got some more.
Kyle, Sam's been fired up since the go tonight. Since the word go, Sam's been fired up all night.
Unbelievable. I love the jersey, too. The retro jersey. If you live, breathe, and eat Devils hockey, I love it, guys.
I mean, we kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
Well, so the story is, the Devils go, from 1997 until 2001. Huge unbeaten streak against the New York Rangers. Some ties along the way there and some really exciting games. Like, remember Scott Gomez having the hat trick. I was a youngster then, and Scott Gomez was one of my favorite players. And to see that game, I remember exactly where I was watching it with my dad, and we collected a bunch of hats from the closet, and when he scored, we threw the hats all over the house. But it was just, if you're a Devils fan, it was a really exciting time. If you're a New York Rangers fan, well, there's another reason as to why you really have no reason to say Martin Brodeur is not good or that you dislike the New Jersey Devils. But, I mean, aside from what I just told you guys, what, Beer Baron and Stewart's, what are your kind of your favorite memories from those 4 years against the Rangers?
Just the fact that they couldn't beat us, I mean, like Sam alluded to, there was so much, even after the Devils won their first Stanley Cup, it was always, put an asterisk on it. It wasn't a real season. They didn't really win the Cup. They won a shortened season, blah, 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 blah. And it always had like this feeling. And then, there's always just that, you can't sell out your building and this, that, and the other thing. When they couldn't beat us, it was the best because the retort was just like, hey, when was the last time you beat us? When was the last time you beat us? And it was fun. It was like any of this, rivalry between the Rangers and the Devils is, it's all just good fun. At the end of the day, I can honestly say I don't use the word hate a lot. I really hate the Rangers. I really, truly hate the Rangers.
I do
with everything in my being. And it's funny because players will be on the Rangers and I hate them. Like I actually hate them. And they'll go somewhere else. And I'm like, that guy, he's one hell of a hockey player. I actually kind of like him. Like Callahan. I used to hate Callahan. He went to Tampa Bay. I'm like, yeah, Callahan, he's all right. He's all right.
Hey, I'll tell you what. If Lundqvist went to any other team and won the Stanley Cup right away, I would be thrilled because he's not winning with the Rangers, and that would burn Ranger fans. Pumped. Oh my gosh! I know during that streak, my cousin's husband at the time was a Ranger fan, and I just loved it that they just could not beat us, and I just always had the last word in any of those arguments. So it actually came down to a family thing right there, where it was like, yeah, we're better than you. Too bad. And that was the best. That was the best for me.
Yeah, like in 2000, 2001, the "you can't beat us" chants, and also the best part about that whole streak, Kyle. I turned 21. Once I turned 21, and going into Madison Square Garden and never losing. I mean, there was so much winning going on that it kind of eased the pain of 94. And then they always would remember the 94, that kind of thing. And
it's all they have.
That's all they had. And then 95 was such a half a cup. And then 2000 came. It's like, okay, you had a cup and a half. 94,
no one says that about
94.
the Blackhawks Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Kyle. We're taking your wonderful articles and we're just trolling the internet right now.
Springboard, baby.
It was such a shame though when they did lose, because like I said, I mean, we're so spoiled for so long. It just became like a custom. Like, the Devils are going to win. We can rub it in the Rangers fans' faces. But I remember, I think it was like a random Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and Guy Hebert was in goal for the Rangers because Mike Richter was hurt, and the Rangers won at Continental Airlines Arena. I don't know, Sam, were you there? Maybe I feel like I would have already heard the story if you were actually there when they lost. Ready?
No, I was there when they lost at Continental Airlines Arena in 2001. I believe it was March. It was later in the season.
Yeah, it was late. Yeah.
Yeah, it was later in the season, and I believe the streak may have started. I think I don't know. I have to look at the records just to be correct, but I think the streak started when Niedermayer in preseason kicked that Rangers jersey. After he got in a fight.
Which is still one of my favorite.
That's a great picture.
That's one of my favorite pictures of all time.
Yeah, I mean it was 97, but I remember thinking when they did lose, it was kind of like a depressing day. It was like, wow, like it finally happened. It was like one of those things that you just found out like isn't true anymore. But it really was just an enjoyable time, I think, for Devils fans, and the old Continental Airlines Arena just had a different feel to it, back then. And nothing against The Rock, but I don't know. Those were some special times, if you were to ask me, if you're a New Jersey Devils fan.
We had that swagger, Kyle. We had that swagger. And, again, I could go on and on and on about it, but I still blame that kid to this day. The one that brought it up thinking, I wish the Rangers would actually make the playoffs so we could have some competition. No. It's like, what are you talking about? I'd rather see the Rangers get buried in this, in the division and then, get bought by Oklahoma and leave or something like that. I don't want them around. But
that's
anyway,
almost
I'm going a little too far.
That's a comment you make after you lose. Is at least they're a little bit more relevant. You don't make that comment until after you lose and a streak like that ends.
Yeah.
If you even say it at all. We lost. That's not before you lose. That's after you lose.
Sam, I think one of our listeners needs to take action here and be that person to just try to find a way to find out who this kid is and reunite you guys at a Devil.
She's a listener right now.
Yeah, right. I converted Devils fan.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. That would be a Let's Go Devils podcast exclusive. It'll be a live event. It'll be at I don't know, some back alley in Newark. We do
Sunday. Sam Wu finally beat that kid.
Yeah, well, I mean, it still bothers me to this day because hockey fans, we all are superstitious. We're all in our ways, and we don't mention anything just because we don't want to blow it. But that kid seemed like he was so happy, like, hey, we finally have competition here. It's like you don't understand the torture between 82 to 94. Those were the most torturous years as a Devils fan. Having a neighbor across the river that, grabbed all the headlines just because people were too cheap to buy Sports Channel, and the premium channels to watch the Devils,
That's not knowing your team's history. That's not knowing your team's history.
They never heard the words Mato haunt their dreams.
That still hurts. That still hurts to hear.
That still burns. That one burns.
But you know what? That one's been put to bed by that Henrique goal in 06.
100%.
In 2012. That Mato has been put to bed.
So all of our friends over in the Facebook Live group have been adding a lot of stuff to the conversation, and we apologize that we haven't had a chance to really chime in and kind of check in with you guys. But I have to say, there's let's see. I just saw one, and there's a lot of talk going on, so I got to go scroll back up to it. Joe in our Facebook group said, "I loved watching Will Butcher light up the rags in their last meeting." I agree. Francisco said the Devils will always be better than the Rangers. You're damn straight. I agree with that too. But my God, and you know what though? That's what sports needs. You need a good rivalry. You know what I mean? Like you need a team to hate to make it worthwhile being a fan. If you liked every other team around you, like what the hell's the point?
Yeah, you know what I think. Devils fans, we don't want to hear it, but it was almost kind of like, like a good thing once the Rangers started to get a little better and start winning again, because then when the Devils went back, they do start beating them, and they do beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's just that much more sweeter.
Oh, 100%.
Kyle, we gotta let you go, but before we do that, I gotta tell you, your articles,
awesome.
They're awesome. But it's very rare do we find people that have, and don't take offense to this, clickbait headlines, but actually can back it up with the writing. That's really a compliment, because every time I look at it, I'm like, what the heck is Kyle writing now? But after I read the article, it's like, yeah, he's right about that. It's none of the some of the pundits out there in the league and some of these bloggers. Like, your articles are great, man, and I really appreciate it. And that's why you've I think this is your hat trick, right? Is this the third time on the program, or actually it's second? But the first time around, I don't think it went too well on our end. Couldn't get the phones to work.
Yeah, guys, I really appreciate that. And I'm just an average white guy from Red Bank, New Jersey, and really just like.
All right, Kyle. Hey, thanks for coming on to the podcast once again. We should talk later. We should meet up for dinner or something like that. All right.
Absolutely, fellas. Peace, love, Bobby Sherman.
There it is.
There it is. Thank you, Kyle.
That's Kyle McKenna. What a great guy. It's like
always great to talk to him.
Ever since like Rich Scher and Tom Galiti have left, I've been looking for the guy or the woman to read articles each day, get fired about the Devils, but also at the same time like back it up. Like the things Kyle wrote, when he talked about, Kovalchuk dissing, I was like, what the hell are you writing about, Kyle? And then when I read it, I'm like, it makes a solid point, which makes a great writer. And that's what we need more in the league.
I thoroughly enjoy reading all of his articles. I really do. And like you said, Tom Galletti, we were talking about being spoiled. We were so spoiled with Galletti. Like he was
phenomenal. I hated seeing him go.
The Fire and Ice blog, I was on that every single day. Like during the whole Kovalchuk saga, every single day. And it wasn't like you would go a week and you wouldn't hear things. You go 2 weeks and not. He was writing all the time, and he would always have like informative information. It wasn't just like, whatever, I'll just throw some stuff against the wall and hope it sticks. He was I remember
every practice, every game, everything. And then the comment section on his blog could turn into the biggest train wreck.
Oh, hell yes. And it was the best. I used to love writing in there. Once in a while, I'd just like write a little comment and just watch the world. Like the scene in Batman. Sometimes people just want to see the world burn. Like that was like how I used to treat that comment section. But not only that, like I remember he had like Q&As with players, and you could send in questions. He legitimately like would ask every single question almost that everybody sent in. Like I asked Travis Zajac what was one of the best pranks he ever pulled on somebody in a locker room, and he said something like filling somebody's skates with like shaving cream or something like that. I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world, like to have the question that I proposed read to an actual player.
Is the Fire and Ice blog even still active?
If it is, it's like Andrew Grossman took it over for a while, and it was
but he went
gross,
to
man.
Hey guys, Jay from the the Bergen Wrecker is actually in the chat room right now. He's got some great comments, but he likes Fire and Ice. But Jay, who's running the Fire and Ice? Is it Abby Mastracco that's running it now? Could you find out for us?
I hope so. I used to love reading it. I used to read it every single day. I used to have the app on my phone. I remember that was a huge thing when the app came on the phone.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now, and it's all the articles are by Abby. So Abby must be doing it now.
She must have taken it over, taken the mantle. Good, good.
Because I like
Abby. I like Abby's writing too. Abby's got a lot of good stuff out there too. So I follow her on Twitter, and
I'd love to see that blog come back because that blog was like the place to get all your information. And I was just like, I was always on that. I was daily.
Yeah.
So
you know who's the biggest troll of all time of Devils bloggers?
Who, Sam?
You?
Who?
Yeah, Sam Wu from 2006 to 2009.
Oh,
the infamous.
Yeah, and it's funny because I get like email. Back then, I used to get emails and all this stuff from Devils fans, and not even Devils fans, NHL fans alike, and they try to compare me to what a real reporter does, and I'm like, but this is blogging and entertainment, isn't it? Like, and they wanted real information, and it's like, what do you want me to do? Make stuff up?
Hey, I mean, sometimes you got to do that.
I know. I know. I remember for a while, Sam, we had our own message board that we would just. It was just a disaster. We just
let's not mention that. In today's PC world, we can't even talk about
Tetris.
It.
Yeah, but the Tetris challenges on that message board were always epic.
Oh, I forgot about that. Was it
Robbie,
JJ?
JJ? It was always JJ versus Robbie, and Robbie would always beat JJ. Robbie was always like the Tetris champion.
Oh my God! I totally forgot about that. Well, we had Tetris.
See, that's why one of the beautiful things that we do here is we're supplying that platform now. Hopefully, that all the Devils fans can come on and comment and join in on the fun. And,
Sam, can we bring Tetris to the Let's Go Devils blog?
Oh my God!
You know what we should do?
Can we bring Tetris back?
I'll even do better than that. We'll bring Tetris. Okay, we should have a Tetris tournament. We got to tell the listeners and the viewers where this whole Tetris thing originated. But before we do that, well, I was looking at other platforms to stream on. Right now, we're on Facebook Live, Twitter Periscope, YouTube Live. We're also live streaming on letsgodevils.com. We're putting the website together. I was looking at Twitch, and Twitch is like one of these gaming streaming sites.
Dude, I know all about that.
We should have a Tetris tournament, a Blades of Steel tournament live podcast.
I have to jump in for 1 second, only because there's something that happens in Vancouver every year, and it's one of the coolest gaming tournaments around. And if you're not familiar with it, you need to go out and try to find it. Every year in Vancouver, they have a tournament of NHL 94. And let me tell you, if you're a fan of the original NES or the original Sega Genesis version of NHL, the original franchise, the NHL franchise, where you can make a dude's head bleed, there's a great reference to it in the movie Swingers. Super fan number 99. Too. And Mallrats, yeah.
There was,
yes. Hey, the whale. I mean, I if we could get a sponsor to send us up to that tournament, I would dominate anybody in that. Oh, I almost cursed. In anybody in that game, I have some silky skills in that game.
Actually, this is my segue to it. Talking about. Yeah, let's just talking about sponsorships. That's exactly what I'm alluding to. If you buy one of our T-shirts, all right, and you really want Beer Baron
Yes.
to
I will
go to
represent you, the
Vancouver. Yeah, to
In our
really
private
go
jet?
to Vancouver in
In
our
the
private jet, our $35 million private jet. In order for to make us make it happen, you, the fans, the listeners, the viewers, you have to buy one of our Let's Go Devils podcast T-shirts. The one that's like always sitting, above me for every podcast. Are you shorts guy? You have it right behind you. Beer Baron. You're actually wearing the logo.
I'm wearing it.
We don't need sponsors. We wouldn't need sponsors to send us there. We just got to sell 1.75 million T-shirts in order to fund that plane. Is that the calculation from last week?
Totally possible.
It was something like that. Except you can't buy this one. You can't buy this one. It's signed by our friend Grant Marshall. This is my own. I get to keep it. But if you do want one, you can find them at sgapparel.bigcartel.com. Scroll down and you'll see the Let's Go Devils podcast logo shirt. They are currently $20 to commemorate the 2000 Stanley Cup winning team.
Hey,
go there and buy.
Hey, did you guys know that 5 years ago today, the Devils signed Jaromir Jagr?
Really?
Just want to throw that in there.
All right. Well, you know what?
I'm wearing my Jaromir
Jagr player T-shirt right now. How about that?
There you go. Hey,
did
you plan on that?
Not know that fact.
Yeah, Jagr signed totally 5 years ago. Today.
Jason Brinker writes, how much is a T-shirt? $20. 20.00 commemorating the 2000 Cup winning team. If you could buy. If you go, what's that,
Sam? I don't mean to jump in like this, but we have a pilot. We have a pilot for our jet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys,
it's in the chat.
Before we get, I understand that, but we also have to raise funds for the jet. So people are asking, where can you buy this T-shirt for $20?
I'm gonna post.
Do we have the link?
Post
the link.
Post it in the chat right now. Boom.
And you
there
can
it is.
Buy.
There's the link right there in the chat.
Yeah. See, eventually it's going to be on our website, letsgodevils.com. But right now we're not set up yet. But if you go to that link, you can buy our wonderful Let's Go Devils podcast T-shirt. If you got Jason, if you're loaded, you could. If you buy 1.75, if you could buy about 2 billion, if you could buy 2 billion of these, this will leave us $5 million left over for the 35 million price tag to put jet fuel in it, get a pilot. Bobby Bonella says that we got a pilot apparently, and then plus we could get Beer Baron some beers, stock up the fridge, all that kind of stuff. It helps the podcast because our goal is just like any other Devils fan, retire right now from our day job so we could do this podcast and provide you great content all day long, and also go to these road games all over North America to watch the New Jersey Devils and give them what they need to win. So $20 are the T-shirts at the store, and Jason, ship them. Check is in the mail. We like that, Jason Brinker. Thank you for supporting that. Thank you for supporting the Let's Go Devils podcast. The money would be put to good use to buy our private jet, which, by the way, we tend to share with the community. Lucky fans will board that private jet, and heck, I'll take a private jet from Newark to LaGuardia just to see a Devils Rangers game. just because we can.
A real deep bag move, like we'll flip off the ozone as we're doing it, just like take this Mother Nature and throw stuff with garbage out the side of it.
Yeah, and then we get protests from the NHL Green Initiative. Green energy for hockey. They'll probably tell us to go to hell. Anyway, sorry. So, I know a guy for beer. Okay, Bobby Manella, you know Shorts Guy's contact information. Send that info to him. Great
I
guys.
believe I know the guy he's speaking of. I believe
Okay.
I know the guy that Bobby's referring to. So I got that already.
Awesome. Well, guys, we relived some great memories today. I forgot about the streak.
And not even all of them. There's so many more we can talk about, which we should continue to talk about.
Yeah.
So not today, but for future shows.
I agree.
We got to
100%.
get Jay. We got to get Jay on the program, on the podcast. Jay, from I don't know. Are we allowed to reveal what publication that you work
You
at,
already
Jay?
did earlier.
You already did, Sam.
You said he's from the Burger Record.
North
Jay,
Jersey.
anytime you want to come on to the radio station, come on to the show. We'd love to have you on.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, if you're doing,
Sam's in a delay. Yeah, you know what? Sam was so fired up. He's now like decompressing, and he's processing really slow. He was firing way too hard, and now he's just coming back and slowing down.
Firing in all cylinders.
Now he's firing at 2, maybe.
Guys. Well, this was a heck of a podcast tonight.
I agree.
We're over a little bit over. There's so much to talk so much to talk about with Kyle. You know, I think one day we're going to have to bring Kyle in studio and just sit with us and just talk Devils hockey the entire time. Jay says, "Okay, let's talk." Okay. I don't know if there's a pun in there, but okay, I'll like that comment. Yeah, we got to get Jay on the program.
I mean, Jay's the one that said he's the pilot too. I think so.
Jay?
I think so.
That'd be pretty cool.
Is he a pilot? Jay, are you a pilot? Anyway, Eric Burns actually has had some pretty good comments today in the podcast about. Let me go back here. Wow, we got a lot of comments. And Ranger fans hate to hear that their first 3 cups happened when there was less than 10 teams in the league.
Yeah, which is by the way, they should have had like way more championships. You know, being in the New York team, Montreal just dominated. Let's get real.
Montreal
but, I mean, honestly,
and
Toronto.
Montreal and Toronto.
But I mean,
and
like
Detroit,
honestly,
a little bit of Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, not like Toronto, Montreal.
One of the things that I love about my hatred for the New York Rangers is when we play them. I don't care if it's in October. I don't care if it's in January or in April. I hate them just as much. You know, it doesn't really matter. It's an all across the board hate. It can be like in the beginning of the year and there's not a lot in the line. Straight up hate them. Hate.
Yeah, no, I do too. I absolutely hate them. I actually hate more teams than I like. I've noticed that, and I think I brought this up before.
5. Before we leave, top 5 hated teams.
Across all sports or just the NHL?
NHL.
Rangers, Flyers, Rangers, and I'd say the Rangers. Sorry.
See, I hate the Rangers.
Teams are the Rangers.
I hate the Rangers. I hate when the fans say the Rangers. It's not like, dude, you like. I noticed there's 2 times that the Jersey side of me will come out. Is 1 in traffic, and 2 when I'm yelling at a Ranger fan. And I get this real like I'm from the mafia type of accent that comes out of nowhere. I hate the Rangers. I hate the Flyers. Like I think I hate the Flyers almost as much because I lived in Philadelphia for 6 years, and it was really hard to live in Philly and have to like walk around the street, and I'd proudly wear a jersey and almost get into fist fights all the time. So I hate the Flyers just as much. And then
the Bruins.
I don't mind the Bruins. I hate Marchand, but I don't mind the Bruins. I think after that, it really weans off. Like the Penguins, I don't even hate the Penguins that much. I don't hate the Islanders that much. The Islanders are like that cousin that you're like, oh, that's Doug. He fell in poop again. Like that's just it's like a bumbling idiot, and you're like, yeah, you're right, buddy. You're like, we'll hang out. It's all right. I'll get a beer with you. But it's like really the Rangers and the Flyers.
For a while, I hated the Kings because they beat us, and
Yeah, I hate the Kings and Avalanche. For that matter.
The Kings redeemed themselves by beating the Rangers, which that Stanley Cup final between the Kings and the Rangers. I want to say that Stanley Cup final between the Kings and the Rangers was more stressful than any of the Devils' Stanley Cup final runs. Any of the times that the Devils were in the finals was not nearly as stressful as when the Rangers and Kings.
I'm so sorry. Eric Burns, dude. This is probably one of my favorite comments of the year. The Rangers have Yankees mouth, but Mets record. Beauty. Absolute beauty.
I think that's the line of the day.
And Jay said the Hurricanes. I hated the Hurricanes. After we lost the way we did to the Hurricanes, I forget what was that. 04? Was that 04?
I was there for that. That was miserable. Yeah, I did. It was 04.
That was
yeah.
I don't remember.
That's one of those things. I'm gonna have to look that up. That's one of those things you just shut out of your memory.
I was living in Philly. I remember watching it on my computer, and I'm like talking to my buddy about playing the Capitals in the next round. And then next thing I know, I'm like, oh wait, oh whoa, what's going on in this game? And I remember throwing things. I was that angry. Yeah, I hated the Hurricanes for a while.
I think we all did for a little while.
Tampa Bay can suck it. They can eat a bag.
Tampa Bay, I could care less about Tampa Bay.
I think I hate Tampa Bay. I hate teams when we're playing them, especially in the playoffs, obviously. But a lot of people are saying Lightning, Kings, Boston from Joe.
It's easier to.
It's true.
I mean, it's easy to hate teams, but I think it's easier to hate the. It's easier to hate a team like the Rangers. Well, it's easier to do. It's easier to have a long-lasting hate against a team like the Rangers because you have to deal with their fans all the time.
Yes.
And we don't have to deal with Hurricane fans because they don't have any. We don't have to deal with Tampa fans because they just bought their jerseys in the last 4 years. Like, we don't have to deal with that.
It does suck when you go to a Devils game and there's Ranger fans there and you're not even playing the Rangers. You're like, dude, get. I know, like, sometimes they're like, and don't get me wrong, I've bumped into Ranger fans that are like good people that I like have good conversations with or like are knowledgeable about hockey, and show up to a game and they're like, it's my team, I like it, so I'll wear the jersey. It's just you nailed it on the head. It's like that. If they weren't so close to us, I just hate them so much. Their fan base are so like. This is a true story. I went on a date with this girl, and I was like, "Oh man, she's awesome." She's a long time ago. We were talking about something, and we went on a second date. And on the second date, I wore a Devils hat, and she's like, "Oh, you're a Devils fan?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, I'm a Rangers fan, like my whole family." I never talked to her again. I'm not even joking. I never called her again. I never talked to her again. And by all accounts, both those dates went really well. But that's it, man. That was a nail in the coffin.
It wasn't meant to be.
We should have a podcast about inter-team dating. The inter-team dating. Like I never understood it. It doesn't work for me. Because I'm just too much of a Devils fan that if I see a Ranger, if I was dating a Rangers fan, I'd probably burn their jersey, just like that, just immediately. It's like programmed in my head.
I gotta say, what's up to my brother who's listening because he just commented that you were super annoying because of the end of Shanny. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Hey, we're in overtime. We're at 10:14.
We are in overtime, but we're talking about something that we can all get behind is the hate of the Rangers. Hate of the Rangers.
Grasp onto that hatred, friends. Grasp onto it like it's the last thing you know.
Well, we should make that as a podcast topic, and I should ask Kyle to have maybe write an article about it on his column about the 5 most hated teams as a Devils fan. Who do you hate most?
I came up with my 5, and 4 of them were the same.
Yeah. Which is funny. Kevin Weeks had the same response you did.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
I'm about to play the closing
Play the
music.
Bring in Rivera.
Yeah.
Oh, he went hard with the music today. There's no fade in. That was straight to the point.
No. Usually there's a fade in. Sam's just ready to get out of here. He's all fired up now. He's done. He's burnt out.
Yeah, we'll be back. Let me lower it. Actually, hold on a sec.
What, are you gonna kill the music?
I think no. What happened was I was controlling the wrong slider. I know it's going to screw it up somewhere. So
you just waited till the very end.
But it was a great podcast. We had a good group of people there. Thanks, Jay. We should have Jay on next week. We really should. We have to have this guy on. And if he's a pilot for real, he could help promote our $35 million private jet ambition.
Yeah,
we may have already found a pilot. Hey, Eric, thank you for the compliment. Always a great show. Jay, thank you. Good show. Hey, thank
you to all the listeners. Thank you so much to all the listeners and everyone that wants to comment. It's awesome to hear. To hear from you guys and that you're there week in, week out, even in the summer.
Yeah, dude, in the dead
even
time.
in the off-season.
Even in the upside down.
Yeah. So, well, till next time, guys. We'll be back next week. Let's go, Devils. I suck.
Oh, shit.